So, don't know when you're watching this, but I'm filming this on a Monday, which of course means that it's time for another Civics Sunday, the series that comes out on any day except for Sunday. So, upon request, I was asked to give my thoughts on Article 13, which is part of a set of directives that the European Union is beginning to push through its process. So, to kind of take a step back a little bit, the European Union is considering a series of directives. It's the directives on copyright law. And the intent behind these directives is to bring the laws in accord with the internet age and give some guidelines as far as how social media companies are going to be handling various disputes, handling basically how copyright is going to work in the internet age. And the most controversial of these directives is something called Article 13. So basically what Article 13 does is say that social media providers, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, places where the public can post information to the public, Article 13, as it's currently written, would impose liability on those social media companies if they were to allow copyrighted material to appear on their sites. So obviously the social media companies are fighting tooth and nail to tell you about the horrors that will happen if Article 13 becomes a finalized directive, and maybe complaining less loudly are record company, artist advocacy groups, folks of that nature who are trying to advocate for greater rights for copyright holders. So, as an American lawyer practicing employment law, I don't see how I am qualified to give a very good opinion on a European copyright law. But give my opinion on this, I guess I will. So, ultimately to me, I'm sensitive to social media saying that they can't be held liable for the acts of their users. I agree with that to an extent. However, that would be like a factory saying, well, we can't be liable for environmental damage after the smoke leaves our building. We can't be held liable for what that smoke does. No, bullshit. Of course you're liable for your actions. And, I'll tell you, last year I celebrated 420 by going on YouTube and watching a bootleg version of Grandma's Boy. You can find just about anything you want to watch on YouTube. They know that they have copyrighted material on their site, but I don't think they especially care because they get eyeballs on their site. That's really all they care about. Really, any social media company, they don't especially care what the content is as long as it's bringing fucking eyeballs to their site so that they can monetize those eyeballs. There's not a whole lot of reason for these social media sites to police themselves, which is why I kind of see it as essential that something be done in order to make sure that copyright holders' rights are protected. That being said, I don't think that it's fair for a social media provider to be blasted with frivolous claims by just any jackhole who claims that they are the copyright holder. So, ultimately, this is what I would propose. I think Article 13, in principle, it seems to be a good idea. But I would want a couple of nuances in there. Number one, I would want there to be some sort of safe harbor provision, being something like, okay, if you're a rights holder and let's say you made a movie and you find that YouTube has your movie on their platform and they're not paying you for it, you should be able to go to YouTube and say, I want you to take this down. I think that it's reasonable for you to prove that you're the rights holder. And I think it's also reasonable for YouTube to have 30 days, 60 days, some reasonable amount of time with which to cure the issue. And at that point, if after 60 days goes by, they still haven't taken down the right holder's video, then I think the right holder absolutely should have a right to take YouTube to court. And I think that the rights holder should have a right to damages from YouTube. Because I think in that situation, YouTube has been put on notice that they are in violation of the law. And if you give them 30 days, 60 days, however long a time, they really should be expected to have a staff attorney on hand to give an opinion about whether or not a particular work is copyrighted. All this claim from the social media providers that they're going to have to engage in filtering uploads to ensure that copyrights aren't being violated, which, I mean, ultimately, Article 13 is being called the meme ban because that's the fear. They're saying that memes, which are generally the product of fair use of an already copyrighted image or whatever, is going to be registered as a false positive by whatever software is being used to monitor uploads. I think that's bullshit. I think that that is social media companies trying to make a mountain out of a molehill and gin up a controversy in order to say that no, we can't comply with this. This is going to affect everyone's free speech. Well, no. You can't have a platform that's allowing people to break the law. And the platform itself cannot be allowed to profit from its users breaking the law. Something needs to be done. And I think rules that allow for a reasonable amount of time to cure the defect before liability imposes is a way that both the social media provider and the copyright holders have, you know, their relative rights balanced. But, you know, then again, I am definitely not an expert in any of this, so I guess I could be way off. So, what do you think? Are you scared of Article 13? Because I'm guessing last I've heard is it's up for a final vote from a week from the time I'm filming this, so shit can get real quick. One final thought on this is that the directive itself needs to actually be enacted by the EU member nations. So, as broadly worded as Article 13 is, it's going to get, by necessity, narrowed down by the member nations that are going to be implementing it. They're going to have an opportunity to review how the directive works with their particular copyright laws. So, I guess even if you think that Article 13 is a bad idea, you still don't have to give up the fight. You take the fight to your member nations before the directive is made final. But then again, what the fuck does an American lawyer know about any of this? And the answer is hardly anything. So, anyway, sorry to waste about 10 minutes of your time. I'm Marv. Thanks for spending a few moments with me. I don't know why you would like this video, but give it a like. Just because it would make me feel good. I'd really appreciate if you'd give this video a like. I'd also appreciate if you'd share this video and subscribe to this channel. And if there's another topic you want me to talk about, leave a comment, let me know. Well, till next time, be good to each other.